Time now for sport. I'm pleased to announce James Vassner is in the building. Great to see you, sir. I'm obsessed with the hassle that Jordan Pickford is getting over the Merseyside derby, but you've got far more pressing matters and far more up-to-date matters. So over to you, sir.
We still remember all those games from this weekend. I mean, it's been pretty exciting this week.
As an Everton fan, it's fantastic. We're still top of the league. I can't believe it. It's,
everything's going well for you.
Well, it's nice. I just hope it lasts.
On top of the world. Well, it's been another exciting night. Maybe not quite to the same level as over the weekend, but Wolves visited Leeds and saw a first goal ruled out after what was a very close offside decision by VAR. But shortly after, Raúl Jiménez's strike was deflected as Calvin Phillips headed it into the corner of his own net. A bit of luck setting the score right for Wolves, who return home with a 1-0 victory and jump up to 6th place in the standings. Meanwhile, despite a number of chances, West Brom and Burnley sign out with a goalless game. Both sides had been looking for a first win of the season, but Burnley is walking away with at least a point this time. The two, however, remain towards the bottom of the table. So looking back at those games that we were mentioning there and the previous results this weekend, the game that shocked all Spurs fans as West Ham made a fantastic comeback to level with Tottenham. 3 goals down in the final 15 minutes. They ended up drawing 3-3 with a fantastic strike that sealed everything off from Lanzini. Meanwhile, a stoppage time goal from Ross Barkley handed 3 points to Aston Villa as they beat Leicester at the King Power Stadium. Now tomorrow we'll see the return of the Champions League with the first games of this season, a return less than 2 months after Bayern Munich were crowned champions in bizarre and unfamiliar conditions. A particularly big opener tomorrow as Manchester United come over to France for a clash with last season's runners-up Paris Saint-Germain. United will be without some of their key players, with Edinson Cavani, his debut appearing to be pushed back at least to the weekend. The team's deadline signing won't be playing against his former teammates at PSG for now, for which he remains their all-time top scorer with no less than 200 goals. PSG, who were so close to lifting that trophy back in August, will be without some key players, including Verratti and Paredes tomorrow, while Marquinhos could be making a return. Thomas Tuchel, however, is realistic about the challenge that his team will be facing tomorrow.
To me, the main challenge is to avoid focusing on the final and on our previous run in the Champions League. It was amazing, but it's in the past now, and the team has changed. I have to try to recreate a close-knit team. I must ensure that we play together. Paul Pogba is still one of their key players. His talent makes him one of the best midfielders in the world, and we must try to stop him.
Now here are the other games to look forward over the next 2 days. Russia's Krasnodar visits France, comes over to France to play Rennes. 2 newcomers in the Champions League going head-to-head there. Lazio play Dortmund, who've had a solid start to the season in Germany. Juventus travel to Kiev for their opener in Group G, while Hungary's champions are taking on a pretty daunting test as they travel to Spain to play Barcelona. Now, it's only the group stage for now, but there are talks from UEFA that the final 8 format that was used over the summer could become permanent as of 2024. No 2-leg ties and a simple knockout tournament instead. This after the association said that the format proved to be a big success over the summer. Finally, thousands of masked-clad visitors flocked to the western coast of France to get a glimpse of the boats set to take part of the 9th edition of the Vendée Globe. The Sable d'Olonne on the Atlantic coast is both the start and end point of the most challenging race in the world of sailing, the only of its kind where skippers are required to complete a solo around-the-world route without any stops or assistance. Now, visitors in a limited capacity, of course, were able to meet both the skippers and the 33-strong fleet taking part this year, set to begin. That will be set to begin in 3 weeks' time. Take a listen to some of the skippers set to take part in the race there.
We can't describe what the Vendée Globe is all about, even to our loved ones, and that's why we keep going back. It isn't necessarily about the sports side of it, but it's rather because this is the ultimate adventure here on Earth. That's what I think anyway. It's very dear to me.
There are similarities to my former job in terms of performance, mental preparation and other areas, but it stops there. You can't compare the rest. They experience things that we'll never go through. At the slightest mistake, they can pay with their life. These are not the things that we footballers do. There isn't so much of a financial side to it either. It doesn't feel like they're in it for the money. It's about soul-searching.
The last one there, Mark. Certainly not a skipper, but definitely a happy face for many in France to see, of course, Emmanuel Petit.
Emmanuel Petit. You know what? That race, the Vendée Globe, it's phenomenal. You imagine the mental strength those skippers need to do that. I once sailed across, I sailed across the channel a couple of times from Brighton to Le Havre. And that's bad enough.
How long did that one take you?
It took forever. It seemed to take like days, you know.
Can you imagine being alone?
12 hours it took. But can you imagine trying to do that right away around the world?
Yeah, spend, I think the record is 74 days, the fastest
in all
one.
weathers and sort of swells up and down. And you're
there
there by yourself, you know, putting a sort of a reef in the sort of the jib and all that kind of stuff.
And I think, and then you got the mental effort as well that comes in with it.
Completely.
You know.
Can you navigate your way to the newsroom? I can't. Imagine trying to sail the ship around the world, sir. James Vassner with All the Sport. Great to see you. Great to see you, sir. Great to see you. Don't forget your life jacket.